Hey guys and welcome. Today I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks for Survive the Undead with my friends. So, this isn't the very basics of Survive the Undead. I'm assuming you guys already know that, since it's not a new game mode. But this is what you guys will want to be able to survive a lot of the rounds. So, here are some weapons that will get you to the top. So, probably the best weapon that you'll want in this game mode is the one I'm having right now, which is the Heat Wave combined with a Purging Shock Rifle. So the way to usually get the weapons is to find the normal mystery box. Correct me guys if something's wrong. I don't know the terms in Call of Duty, but this one.
Pack-a-punch.
Yes. Well, no. You want this one until you get this, and then you want to pack-a-punch it until you get the Purging Shock Rifle. So that's really the best weapon because it doesn't kill you easily, and you can get headshots with it for extra damage. It's really good. If you get the one with the bulldog, is it decent, guys?
It's not bad, but you should probably upgrade the shock rifle.
Early on, if you don't get it, you can still use it. Another good weapon is a scatterbound, is the pulse carbine with the scatterbound heat wave, which I just used right now. And
for that, I would be careful.
Yeah, because you can very easily kill yourself with it on accident. And right now I'm struggling a little bit, trying to be okay. Right now we're at Black Eye, so we do not regenerate our shields. And speaking of Black Eye, you have to be very careful because when Black Eye is on and you have the Grunt ability, which is everything's one shot, you cannot gain that health back from killing enemies easily. So at some points in the game, activating the Grunt is actually not too good. So you won't be able to regenerate your shields a lot. You can melee them still to regenerate shields, but to get over shields, it's not always a good idea and later on. However, in the later rounds, it becomes very hard to kill, so you might need the Grunt to kill more easily. So with that being said, the pulse carbine with the heat wave, now that is very good at bouncing off of corridors, especially with the grunts, because it'll bounce and just kill everything it touches. So that is a good combo. However, your teammates may not always appreciate that, so you have to balance it out. Now those are the best weapons. Sometimes it's honestly even good to have two of these. And now we're fighting Eshram. When you're out here, the later rounds with the Eshram, sometimes, well, there's usually, at some points there's going to be multiple Eshram, so sometimes what you want to do is not even fight him, just ignore him, if you can, of course, and fight other enemies until you get a nuke. And once you nuke them, Eshram will be gone, you won't even need to fight Eshram. So that's a tactic. See, we didn't even need to fight Eshram right here. So, as I was saying, you could have two heat waves with the shock rifle, so you can easily reload, well, switch when you run out of ammo, or if you need to fire faster without reloading. A good alternative to the pulse carbine with the plasma pistol is it's less deadly, but it's safer, and it's the plasma pistol instead of pulse carbine with the heat wave. Sadly, our teammate died, and I'm gonna revive him. So that one is not as strong, but you have less of a chance of killing yourself on accident. What words do you have to say on that, Wolf?
Early on, I recommend getting the mutilator because it's easier to kill stuff.
Yeah, if you manage to get the mutilator, you might want to keep it, especially for the melee early on. Keep in mind, the mutilator is not always appreciated if you get hit by it, because well, by your teammates, because it'll send your teammates flying into the air, which is not always fun. So, with that being said, let me revive my teammate. There we go. Getting a weapon can be hard, so another weapon that I recommend is getting the disruptor and then getting the skewer with it. That's let's say you cannot get any weapon, you have to get something. You might want to get that. It's not the best again. Well, I mean, there's better stuff, but it'll basically do the job early on. But you definitely want to have the weapon I have right now, the combo I have, and now my teammates are dead.
The skewer can be upgraded to the plasma pistol, and if you get a kill with it with instant kill on, you get a
with
free heat wave. It's called instant kill.
The heat wave with the shock rifle, so pretty much the best weapon in the game. So whenever you get the skewer, just keep it and upgrade it. Mushroom's dead? No, he's not.
Okay, I want to report this guy.
What for?
Because he keeps mutilating me to all the enemies. It's kind of annoying.
As a reminder, do not mutilate your teammates, because if you do, you're gonna get hated. It's very annoying. So what other tips did you have? How about recovery?
For recovery, if you have enough points and you just die and you get revived, I recommend upgrading your assault rifle until you get the bulldog, and then go for damage and then health and then speed, because you get really good damage with that.
Remember that you get when you get revived, you do get some health benefits, some bonuses, but it doesn't last too long, so you have to make your moves. And again, you have to recover, get your weapons, the good weapons again and stuff. That's if you have enough points to, So you also need like lots of points, or teammates who can donate you points to recover. What else should we mention?
Whoa! You made him kill himself! You got him! I was trying to make him kill himself, and he just stepped where he dies. Teabag him.
Another tip is never get the rocket launcher.
Yeah, you have to be careful with some of those weapons, like the rocket launcher, or what was the other one, the disruptor type weapons? Calcine disruptor upgraded weapons, because those can still kill you, so it's easy to accidentally shoot yourself. Same with the pulse carbine and the heat wave, so you have to be careful with them.
When you die and you have like no points, try to find an instant kill or a nuke, because those will help you get lots of points.
Especially if you're trying to help a teammate recover. It'll help them be able to clear the field and so on. And stick next to the teammates. You definitely want to protect the teammates. I also recommend focusing on one. If multiple teammates die, I recommend on having only one teammate being fully recovered at the same time. Sure, you can do multiple, but if you all specifically focus on one at a time, it'll save on points and so on. It'll be easier. So that's a personal tip I have.
When Eshrams spawn, I would suggest using the nuke, because it kills them instantly. But there's a bit of a delay when they spawn, so you gotta wait like a few seconds. Yeah, I'm using
So, to recap everything, the weapons you want absolutely are the heat wave plus shock rifle combo. You can have two of them at the same time. It's really useful. If you run out of ammo, you can switch to the other, etc. Another way of getting it is by getting the skewer plus the plasma pistol, and then you get the insta-kill, the little grunt, and then get a kill with it, and it'll give you that. It's like an Easter egg. A good weapon to have as well, as a secondary, is the pulse carbine and the heat wave. Now, be careful with that one can easily kill you. So, make sure it doesn't bounce on you, dodge it, fire it around corners, etc. An alternative to it is the plasma pistol plus the heat wave. Less likely to kill you, but less effective. And again, you should, when the insta-kill grunt is on, it's good to use it because it'll insta-kill stuff around corners and all of that. If you're in a pinch, I do recommend the disruptor and the skewer. And that will basically, it's not the deadliest weapon, but it can get the job done earlier on. You can also, as a secondary probably, get the mutilator. Now that's another weapon that you can use to melee enemies and send them flying, etc. Just don't mutilate your teammates, that's important. They'll hate you. It's not the strongest later on, but at least in the earlier ones, it's pretty useful sometimes. So if you're dead, one great tip is to just upgrade your assault rifle until you get the bulldog. That can usually kill enemies, and remember you get like more health for a few seconds when you respawn, when you get respawned by a teammate. So again, for the recovery, you should recover one teammate at a time. Gotta defend the teammate and let them get all of the upgrades they need, and then at least one weapon. So other than that, remember that grunts are useful for recovery. They can be deadly if misused, but sometimes a teammate needs a grunt to be able to recover. So why can they be deadly? It's because when you have the Black Eye Skull on, you cannot get shields back normally, so you have to melee them. And the vampirism that you have when you upgrade your weapons, it doesn't really work with the grunt. So the only way to recover health, pretty much when the grunt is on, is to melee enemies, revive a teammate, or use a nuke. So be careful for that. Another good tip is to wait for Esherim to spawn in, when there's multiple Esherims especially. If there's a nuke around, don't use it yet. Wait a few seconds on the start of the round. Esherim spawns in, then you can use the nuke. And sometimes, yes, it is better to use the grunt, so especially at the later levels. If there's too much, just use a grunt, kill Esherims like that way. Otherwise, use the nuke. So with these tips, you should be able, and you should be well on your way to reaching high levels. Now, this match that my friends and I played, for example, we made it to like an hour and a half almost, or something like that, and we made it pretty, like around 50 something. It was pretty good. So these are tips and tricks. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.